Secret Invasion episode 5? Anyone? Any takers?
Yes, the penultimate episode of season 1. If we get another season.
I'm going to start with my complaints off the bat.
Okay.
This episode felt too short. It skipped
Agreed.
by quite quickly. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think like it was structured poorly. It's just because there was like constantly something happening, that 37-minute episode felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it could have done with just a little bit more. It kind of felt like, I don't know if the ending is really where it should have ended. It almost felt like we should have got like another bit.
Yeah. I am concerned they have once again put themselves in a position that means the last episode is going to be rushed.
Yeah. Which is impressive, because the pacing off the rip was great.
It goes back to what we were saying, what feels like back in episode 3. The pacing they've got for 6 episodes is actually a fine pacing. It's moving along at a nice enough speed. But if you want that to be the speed, it just needs to be 9 episodes.
Yeah, this is what we've said for a lot of the Disney Plus shows now, is they just need more. There just needs to be more episodes. Just let them be longer.
They do such a good job building everything up for 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And then they give 1 episode to close it all down.
Yeah. And it's
just not enough.
The seasons just feel so short.
Exactly. And I've got a horrible feeling at the end, after he's done his suit up, which we called.
Yeah.
I've got a horrible feeling everyone on the internet's like trying to work out who's on the other end of the phone. And that was what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be sitting here right now listing all of the people he could have just called. I've got a horrible feeling all he's done is call Gravik and tell him it's time to meet.
That's what my brain went to. He made that phone call and I was like, who would that be? Probably Gravik. The way he
sucks.
Yeah. And it's like,
a lot of people are like, oh, I bet he's called Quake.
No. It very much felt like he just called Gravix. But I think there is still more. There's something else at play here that we haven't figured out yet, I think. I have. Go on.
No, go on.
Well, I was going to say, like, we had this episode where, like, he finally confronted Rhodey in front of the guard, which I thought was a bit like, is he just hoping the guard thinks he's crazy? Is that guard meant to just stand there and, like, listen to this fact that Rhodey's a Skrull and not, like, question anything? But we also got on the British side of things, I forgot what the ginger guy.
Ginger guy? Oh yeah, Sonya's boss.
Yeah. We found out he was a Skrull. And then also Sonya goes and deals with the doctor.
Scientists.
Yeah, the scientists.
Yeah. I just want to say,
she's the star of the show.
Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
Is the GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
We've been knowing this for a while now.
She's stolen the show.
There is something about the gritty, brutal super spy always being very smiley, very peppy, and very upbeat.
And also just a dash of sarcasm.
Yeah, that is so beautifully funny in an accidental way that doesn't take away from the drama and seriousness. And I think only Olivia Colman could pull it off this well.
Yeah.
Because especially this episode, I just sat there going, okay, I want another Olivia Colman scene right now. Because it's so like when he pulls the shotgun and she's like, oh, we must stop doing this. And then she's like, Jerry or whatever. And he's like, my name's Roy. She's like, no, Jerry's the guy with a silencer on the base of your skull. And then you just see him coming to the shot and she's like, there he is.
It's the way as well. She's like, good. Oh, well, we can do that. I can have many faces and I can be like, all pleasant, and I can be your bestie or I can be your non-bestie. And then it is just like, and when she confronts a boss and then they come in and go, what have you just done? And she's like, oh, he's just going to show us his true colors. And his hand turns green. It's just like she gives zero shits and she does it in the most polite way possible.
It's so good.
I also loved that when Fury got in the car and she's saying like, you spent $7 billion and all I can do is change your face. But then he says obviously there's like another version of it.
Yeah, like,
And
this is a
then
prototype.
yeah, and then she turns on the car and storms his plane. And
Yeah.
I just loved the idea of Olivia Colman just
Mm-hmm.
driving through London, just bopping to Stormzy.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly was great. I loved. Oh, I'm very intrigued by this whole the harvest that we've now got info on.
Yes. I
Oh,
hate to say it.
go on.
I don't disagree with the plot point.
Right.
I think the first we're hearing about it is too late.
Yes.
And I think it is just going to be used to explain whatever shit housery is happening in Miss Marvel with the power swapping bullshit.
Um. See, I don't think that. I agree that it was it was. I feel like they should have hinted at the term or the mention of the harvest should have been done sooner. Maybe even back when he was like that guy was trying like Saints Graphics or that we came up with nothing at that place. Like there should have been mention then of the harvest and just nothing else. Because people would just spent what the fuck is the harvest and spent ages figuring it out, and it would have just added a bit of mystery. I think it's actually more of a cop out of just like it's kind of like a plot point to pull Fury back because he's the only one that knows about like this idea that he's the only one that knows about it and Gravik's headed it. It's like it's this thing they're using to kind of just tie them together as to like give us a reason of why they actually really hate like why they're butting heads right now. Um I'm not
I
like the
also,
yeah, the idea of the harvest is fine, but also at the same time feels kind of flawed. Because like they talk about the Battle of Earth.
yeah, which
Which
I assume is at the end of Endgame.
yeah, basically that's the first time we've heard like what we've been calling like the blip or the like end game. All of that in like one go, I imagine, is like the battle for Earth. Um, I'm sorry, but that was all rubble at the end. You can't tell me that they just walked in there and were like, "Ah, this blood specifically right here, that's Carol Danvers. We'll take that." Like, what? How are they going through like some like just destroyed area and picking out that's Carol Danvers' blood, not just some Wakanda soldier's blood.
Yeah,
Like it seems a little far fetched that they're able to like gather it, but I get the premise that it's feasible that they would do that. It just feels like, yeah,
but I mean, you've also why? So the logic is
mm-hmm.
Fury doesn't want to call the Supers in because Gravix wants them to get their powers.
Yeah,
But Fury knows he doesn't have the harvest and doesn't know where the harvest is.
yeah.
And Gravix, yeah, he has some powers, but is that enough to deal with the Avengers? In whatever capacity the Avengers currently exist?
Well, the first reason he gives is like he doesn't want them to like be able to mirror them, which I get. Like they need to see them properly to get like a proper mirror. Like you could go off video and stuff, but like it wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe they can't quite get enough information off that.
We're also in like dire straits now. I get at the very beginning him being like, well, we don't want
Well,
like
yeah,
Captain America like committing a terrorist attack.
yeah, and then
Fair
that was
enough.
his early reason. And then he gets asked by why is her name now gone out my head? The British
Sonya.
Sonia. Sonya asks, "Why have you not called out down your big friends?" And then he explains, "Well, it's personal now." And it's like now it's become. It's not about them being used for a terrorist. It's just like it's now his personal. Like he's taking this personally.
Yeah.
And like I get, like he got Gravix to do this, and now like it's no one else knew about it. It's his fuck up. That's why he's got to come back down and deal with it. I get that. But it's like, really? You're gonna risk Earth and not call in the superheroes?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I am still very excited for the last episode. I'm excited to
Yeah.
see how it gets wrapped up, but there is a little bit of concern about the pacing of this final episode. What I will say is the fight sequence at the New Skrullos,
Yes.
where they try to take down Gravik, fucking brutal.
Yeah, it was.
I loved
And
it.
we got to see
So
like
good.
his adult form for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they gave it a good try, but like it felt like such a pot because they know he's a super Skrull at this point, and it's like you really think a bag over his head and like hitting him with a sledgehammer is going to do anything when he got shot in the face and healed. It kind of felt a bit like, come on, you should have tried harder.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing with Priscilla and Gaia was interesting. Got a bit more insight into kind of like how Fury and Priscilla became a thing, and then although Gaia was not with her father's plan, she obviously was very much wanted to make sure he got the proper send off, which was
I
interesting
did
to kind of see a bit of their culture, I guess.
I did potentially
Oh,
notice a plot hole in that scene though.
okay.
Who came to kill them at the house?
Well, I think we're meant to be led to believe it's the Skrulls.
Cool. There's a big problem with that.
Go on.
Skrulls bleed blue blood, as we've seen. Every single person that got shot had red blood.
They would, yeah, but when they're in human form, they bleed red at first and then it changes.
Yeah, but none of them transformed after they got fucking
We didn't
shot to shit.
hang on any of them, though.
No, there was one hanging in the background that didn't change.
Maybe it wasn't Skrulls. Maybe it was somebody else.
I think it was Skrulls. I think that was just a potential oversight.
I think they kind of played on the fact that we didn't really hang on, other than the guy hanging in the background, like no one was hung on, proven to be a Skrull, probably budget wise. The fight scene was cool, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, no.
Surprised, I'll be honest, like Fury only has like a couple of bug out bags in his house. Are you kidding me? Like that man doesn't have tech security to deal with shit. Like
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
like it was just a bug out bag with like a body armor thing that pulls over the front and there's a pistol on it. It's like, okay, surely there's like some nanotech or some like he's got a fucking rocket launcher in a drawer that's like the size of a watch. You'd think like Fury has some better security than just a couple of bug out bags with one with a pistol, one with a shotgun.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's always also like he's not a big truster of tech either. Tech fails.
True.
Skills don't.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, if he thinks this is his house where he's with his wife, he won't want it to just be like parcel in the
Yeah.
sense of literally designed for protection. He'll want it to feel like a home, otherwise it'll feel
Well,
like a prison.
we know that Priscilla bought the home, don't we? So
Yeah.
I suppose he probably wasn't. She probably didn't let him do anything to it.
I mean, for all we know, he might have taken some more weapons with him or whatever at different times.
I'm worried Fury's gonna die.
You've been telling me I'm crazy this whole week because he's in the Marvels.
Yeah, no. And
you're not flip flopping now last second.
Well, no, it's just like
you've seen the vision.
Okay, I don't like. I don't think he is gonna die because he's got to be in Marvels. but it feels like he has a death wish right now. Which then
Yeah.
is like, but then my brain is playing on that theory that I mentioned last week, what I've seen floating around, that there's two Furies going around. One's a Skrull playing Fury, and it's like, if that's true, that changes things up a bit. Because we've like, let's look at next week, right? We're gonna have Fury and Gravix have to face off. Rhodey has to get exposed. Like that's got to get
Well, we
like.
need to know where the real Rhodey is.
Well, we presume in New Skrullos.
We're assuming so. We need to know he's okay. Because you've got to
So,
remember, they're getting ready to nuke New Skrullos.
oh wait, do you know what I think will happen? Fury's gonna go meet with Gravix. Gravix said bring some iodine pills or whatever because the reactor's rough, which is because of radiation. Fury's gonna go meet with him, use that as an opportunity to be in like the wasp's nest. He's gonna try and find Rhodey and free him so that the real Rhodey can be like, "Hello, Mr. President. This is a Skrull." Bang, and then real Rhodey's there, and like that's how he's gonna clear.
I get what you're saying, but do we even know if the real Rhodey's ever properly met the president?
He must have done at some point. Not maybe like as an official position, but like sure, like he was War Machine. He's got to have met him at some point.
He met
Even
the
if
last president in Iron Man 3.
yeah, but this president would have been cutting about as a official. He's definitely shaken hands with a lot of high-ranking people.
He might
He's
come
War
out of
Machine.
he might have come out of his little coma thing and go, "Wait, who the fuck's president?"
Well,
We don't know how long he's been in there.
well, yeah. The theory now I've seen is that some point during Endgame, like after the Endgame fight, is when he got switched.
Oh, that'd be shit though, because it doesn't change anything for us.
Well, the theory is it happened between like real Rhodey saw Iron Man die, but Skrull Rhodey was at the funeral.
Got ya.
So it's like in that like cleanup stage when Skrulls would have been sent in to get blood and the harvest. People are like, is that when shit went down and Rhodey got switched?
It still doesn't really change anything though, does it? I want it to be more impactful than that. I want it to be like after Civil War, so that the Infinity War and Endgame was a scroller going, "The fuck am I doing here?" Like, Gravix, the fuck do you mean I've got to go back in time? They want a time travel, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like it's so hard because if it is before Endgame, it just makes that whole.
Yeah.
But
It's what happens when you
I
decide you want to do this story and you haven't thought about it earlier to lay the groundwork.
I did think it was interesting though as well that Fury has fucking gravestones everywhere. We've seen two now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw his original one,
Winter Soldier.
and yeah, and then we saw this one that's in Finland,
Yeah.
and he said he has them
Yeah.
everywhere. So
That's such a Nick Fury thing.
yeah, it really is.
I did enjoy the suit up scene though.
The suit up scene was
Watched him
great.
pull out a big ass coat, get a pistol out, put his eye patch on. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah, let's fucking cook.
he was set. I think it's safe to assume that Maria Hill isn't returning.
Maybe that's who he's on the phone to.
I think all those things where people are like she's still got guest stars for later episodes. It's like yeah, because they keep showing her fucking clip.
They keep showing the fucking footage of her getting shot.
She's making bank off one scene.
Well, maybe not.
We'll get into that later. But I do agree with the whole. There is a lot to wrap up in this last episode,
and we have no reason to believe this is getting a second season.
No,
so I don't see how it does.
I think it's gonna lead. It's got to lead into the Marvels, like in the sense of like how Nick Fury's left off.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like,
But yeah, the only thing that makes sense for me is they get the harvest, they try and spin up the machine, it goes wrong, and because they've got Captain Marvel's DNA, it sends out a big throughout the universe, and that's what causes Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and
yeah, maybe it'll like unlock something.
yeah, it causes them to be stuck in this little power
See,
swap loop thing.
one theory I was thinking is like whatever, like it all wraps up however it does, and then as punishment, but also because Fury's still kind of going to be as a wanted man. Like there's no real way to scrub that off the public precedent. Even if you say, "Oh, that was an alien," it's like, well, that looks like. There's people just going to be like, "Yeah, but that looks like Fury. How do we know that isn't the Fury and not an alien Fury?" So they're just going to be like,
True.
"Just go hide on Saber again." Um, there's an anomaly that you need to investigate with the Marvels.
He didn't seem to be like a fugitive in the trailer, though, did he? He seemed a bit confident, cutting about in the middle of the day, knocking on doors and stuff.
Yeah, but at the end of that episode, I would say he was like being careful.
Potentially. Anyway, we shall see.
Yes.
Onwards.